It's Saturday, March 21st, 2020. A real quick recap of yesterday. Markets decimated. Dow Jones down over 900 points. The artificial injections, the quantitative easing, the stimulus, the optimism, none of this is working. We've got very, very big trouble. And I want to go over an article that I read today that is talking about the trouble that we're going to see here in America. It's by Doug Casey. It's titled, "Many Americans Are Not Prepared to Deal with Depression-Level Living. How Will You Cope with a Lower Standard of Living?" Casey believes we are headed for what he calls a super depression created by the ending of a debt super cycle. This article made some very good points. It basically is connecting all the dots, and it's telling you what you're about to see right here in the United States of America and how unprepared we are as a nation and how this nation is in bigger trouble than most of you think. I'm going to go through this article. I'm going to paraphrase through it. I picked out some real good highlights here that I want to share with you. I think it's very, very important. A super depression is coming. Easy credit, instant gratification have created a nation of self-absorbed, narcissistic, entitlement-minded people with no moral or mental toughness. And one of my biggest concerns is when we go into this depression, we as a people, this country, we have a nation now of massive obesity, drug addiction, pharmaceutical addiction, reality TV addiction, porn addiction. This country's not been tested. It's very, very soft. And look, I'm soft too. I've gotten soft. There's no doubt about it. We're all soft. We have not been tested like our grandparents or our parents. And we are very, very soft. And we are going to basically see a tribulation here in America, a reckoning that we are not prepared for. The depression has begun, and as it picks up momentum, it will overwhelm the plans of society that is expecting things like Social Security, pensions, payouts from retirement, plans they paid into for years. They're not going to be there. They are not going to be there. Social Security and pensions have been robbed. This Ponzi scheme stock market built on quicksand is folding like a deck of cards. And people are really going to be in a really vulnerable position here. All of these things will disappear overnight and leave society gasping and stupefied over what to do. The reactions will be to yell and scream and to identify who is to blame. But the only person they should blame is the one in the mirror. See, people just stood by as long as they're eating and drinking, as long as the credit cards work, as long as the stock market is going up. Nobody cares that it's a Ponzi scheme. Nobody cared about the corporate buybacks. Nobody cared about the repo injections. Nobody cared about the 0% interest rates. As long as it was all going up and people were making money, everything was okay. Many very smart people have raised the alarm and have done their best to warn the sleeping masses. But those slumping masses have ignored the warnings and hit the snooze button one more time. The masses do not understand economics, and they do not want to understand economics. They will pay dearly for their ignorance. And many of them right now are starting to see that happening when they look at their 401ks and their IRAs and their money markets and their stock portfolios. They're seeing something that they never thought could ever happen. And again, if you didn't learn a lesson back in 2008 that anything's possible, that they just made the problem worse. We didn't want to feel the pain back in 2008. So what did? We spent trillions. We printed trillions of dollars to bail out banks that made bad loans, to bail out foreign banks, to bail out automakers and corporate America. Nobody wanted to feel the pain. Now the debt is 3 times as high. We have a derivative problem here that is overheating. That is going to be a massive problem. We got the bond market overheating. We've got so many problems. We've got this infection. We've been witnessing a retail apocalypse take place. We've been watching the auto industry collapse. And as I've said, we are going to witness the housing bubble burst, and it is going to be extremely ugly what we're going to see here in America. When the real unemployment rate becomes common knowledge, as it increases substantially, people will be left to survive on what resources they have saved outside of the banking system that cannot be stolen by politicians and bankers. Remember, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. I cannot stress that enough. Do not keep a lot of money in the bank. Do not keep your safety deposit boxes, your valuables in that safety deposit box in the bank. You need to be detached from this banking system ASAP. This is a key point here. The assets you have outside of the system that cannot be stolen from you with a few keystrokes on some computer. That's how quickly your money can disappear. I can't tell you how many people are writing me or how many people I know personally who are saying that they cannot get all of their money out of the bank or a certain amount. They're limiting withdrawals right now. And many people are telling me how they're only allowing 2 people in the bank, using drive-thrus only. We know at some point the bank doors close, then it's only drive-thrus, then the drive-thru closes, then it's only ATMs, then it's only $200 at your ATM, then it's $20 at your ATM, then the ATM's gone. So they're conditioning us for an economic collapse. The trading floor on Monday is closed. It will all be done electronically. So there's just a lot of stuff going on right now we need to be paying attention to. You know, I'm praying, obviously, for a miracle here that the U.S. is going to pull out of this, that there's going to be a miracle that we're going to start manufacturing things here back in America, that we're going to pay this debt down, that, you know, we're going to back the dollar with something. But the more I see how weak America is, I am really losing faith on the future of America. We are supposedly the richest country in the world, and we don't even have masks to give to our healthcare professionals. And I'm watching the task force and the president out today, and now for over a week, all we've been hearing about is masks. These masks, we're getting masks, we're making masks, we're making more masks, we're going to get the mask out. I mean, it's been going on for a week, maybe 2 weeks about these masks. We are so far behind and so unprepared as a nation. What happens to this country when these unemployment numbers continue to skyrocket? We don't have enough masks. We're finding out that our healthcare system is not prepared for an emergency, and we are going to find out how unprepared we are for an economic emergency. We don't even make our own pharmaceuticals here in our own country. Our financial system is a house built on quicksand, a giant Ponzi scheme that is now being exposed. We have a dollar that is being printed to oblivion, and this is what got us into this mess. All this dollar printing. The Federal Reserve created this mess. You can blame the central bank, the Federal Reserve, for where we are at today. Don't blame this president. Don't blame anything but the Federal Reserve for the mess we are in right now. And think about, we're in this mess because of low rates and massive money printing, and we're going to use low rates and massive money printing to get us out of this. Think about how dumb that is. If money printing works so well, Zimbabwe would have the biggest economy in the world right now. It didn't work out too well for Weimar Germany, and it didn't work out too well for Zimbabwe. So their currencies collapse, and that's exactly what's going to happen to the US dollar, and we are not prepared for that day. We just keep ignoring it, saying it could never happen because we're here in America, and those kind of things don't happen. Well, they told you too big to fail couldn't happen, and now it's happening again. They told you the stock market would never go down. It's going to go 40, 50,000 points. Well, we're going to be lucky if it doesn't go to 5,000 points. Things are going west to Asia. And I truly do believe that China is going to prosper from this infection. They're going to prosper from this global depression because they're going to turn the factories back on. They're going to turn the lights on. They're going to go back to work. And the world is going to be desperate for supplies, for pharmaceuticals, for steel, for plastics, for aluminums. And China is going to be the world superpower if a miracle does not take place here quickly. When people wake up one day and they have no job, their retirement is gone, when the government services have collapsed, and they suddenly realize, when people suddenly realize they are now living in a third world country with few government services, what are they going to do? Ask yourself, what are you going to do? If you have not been preparing, you're going to be living in a nightmare. And unfortunately, if you have not already begun to prepare, it's probably going to be too late for you. I've been by so many gun stores. You can't even get in. It's appointment only. They're sold out, completely sold out. Try buying gold and silver today. It is very, very hard to do. You can find it. Premiums are going up. The inventories are very, very lean right now. When the banks are closed and only a few select connected people have any type of money or access to goods, what are people going to do? They're already robbing trucks of toilet paper. What's going to happen when people start going hungry? When the EBT checks don't arrive? When the SNAP money doesn't arrive? What are people going to do if they're already? We're seeing interstate pirates now robbing 18-wheelers of toilet paper. What do you think people are going to do when they get hungry? Those trucks are going to be coming in with armed guards. Here's the reality. Many people are going to face a future that they are not prepared for. They're oblivious. And people now are worried as I see the lines at the stores, the gun stores, the Costco's, the fights at Walmart, the fights at the Walgreens for their prescriptions. Now people want to start preparing because it's getting a little dicey. Now they want to start preparing. If you're starting to prepare right now, it's more than likely too late. And most people have no idea how bad it's about to get. People don't want to acknowledge how bad it will get right here in the US. If they did, they would have already taken personal responsibility. Personal responsibility is a dirty phrase in today's entitlement society. Take a good look at Venezuela because that's where America is heading unless we have a miracle, unless we have an awakening quickly. So here's a news flash for everybody. The days ahead are not going to be easy. We have some very rough times ahead of us. Very troubling times. We are going to see society fall to third world levels right here in America. The assets actually owned by people today is very small compared to how they live. They will default on their home loan, their car loan, and their credit card debt, leaving them very few real possessions. These people will be the new serfs to the wealthy class that are going to take possession of anything of value. Take a good look. These are the people. The serfs. These are the people on Facebook showing you what they had for dinner. That steak, that bottle of champagne over at Mastro's, the little weekend vacation, their new leased Mercedes. These are the people that are going to be the new serfs. All this stuff they show you, trying to be big shots, all the stuff that they try to impress you with, bought with credit, car loans and credit cards. These are the new serfs. And I've already noticed a lot of these people on social media already disappearing because they're getting very, very scared. I'll tell you who's going to be very, very busy. The repo man is going to be very, very busy. And the banks are going to be very, very busy taking people's homes by the millions. This is going to be the biggest wealth transfer you and I have ever seen. Doug Casey asks, do you have a way to take care of your family until things stabilize? Do you have a home you will not lose if the whole system breaks down? You know, it wasn't that long ago when people were pulling money out of their homes, pulling cash out of their homes to buy boats, to buy RVs, to buy swimming pools, to buy second homes, pulling cash out to buy Bitcoin, to buy vacations. The craziness that we just recently saw right here in America in this housing bubble. Now, these people are going to have to worry about if they have enough food or electricity. These are the new serfs. These were the people that were living way beyond their means, using their homes as ATMs so they could get even farther into debt, just to impress people or to quench their narcissistic thirst. There are some real serious questions you should be asking yourself. Many of you were asking yourself these questions years ago. And that's why today you're prepared for what's coming. Most of you watching this video today are prepared. Most of you know and have known what is coming. God bless every one of you. Thanks for taking a few minutes out of your time to watch this video today on this Saturday, March 21st, 2020. Look, we need a miracle here in America. We need to be praying for this country. We need to be walking close to God, and we need to continue to do what we've been doing, and that's preparing the best that we can. Any way we slice this up, the unavoidable is coming. America is going to be tested. America is going to be rocked without a doubt. There is a reckoning that is going to take place in America, and it has begun. And now people are getting nervous, and now people want to start preparing. It's too late for most people. It really is, and I'm sorry to say that. They ignored the warning signs. You did not